Well, hello, everyone, and welcome. Welcome. Happy Thursday to all of you. Lesli Bitel here, business consultant and coach. And boy, I am so excited to be here with you today. So, we are at the end of the year. Can you believe it? So, I have a great topic in store for you today. And honestly, this is one of my favorite things to talk about because many of you I know are looking for ways to grow your practice via passive income, right? Passive income. So today I am really delighted to have Dr. Jeff Gladd from Fullscript. We're going to have an awesome conversation today about supplements and Fullscript specifically. We're going to hear a little bit about his journey. And my hope in sharing this with you today is that you are going to feel inspired and you're really going to start looking at your business from a strategic perspective and how you can add a possibly even a brand new revenue stream into your business. Most importantly, while you are really supporting your patients and clients, right? That is always the number one priority, is to provide, amazing service to them. And so that's what we're going to talk about today with Dr. Gladd. So welcome. Really happy to have you with me. It's a pleasure to see you again. It's been a while, right?
It's been a bit. Yeah, Leslie, it's great to be here. Yeah, I love to talk about these topics too. So we're gonna have a blast here.
Yeah, it's such a great topic. All right, so what I want to do to kind of kick things off, everybody, is I'm going to read. Dr. Gladd has an amazing bio. I'm going to kind of give you the overview just so you have a sense of his amazing background. And I just found out that he lives in Indiana, so we're kind of quasi neighbors, right?
Totally.
Not too far away. I'm actually, as some of you know, in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. So not too far away at all. So Dr. Gladd, as Chief Medical Officer, Dr. Jeffrey Gladd advises on company and product direction with a perspective of integrative and family medicine. And he has been in this role with Fullscript since 2019. And Dr. Gladd graduated from Indiana University School of Medicine in 2001. And after successfully opening a family practice, shifted focus towards health promoting care by completing the University of Arizona Integrative Medicine Fellowship Program under the direction of Dr. Andrew Weil. And he did that in 2009. And opening the Parkview Health Center for Integrative Medicine in 2010. And there's lots of other awesome stuff here, including a TEDx talk, it looks like. So, yeah, so let's kick things off. Really looking forward to this conversation. You have done a lot. So, give us your perspective, just a little bit of an overview of your journey, and specifically, what made you transition, right? Because that's a obviously pretty big leap. What was it that kind of propelled that shift for you?
Yeah, no, thanks. I mean, like most of us who become really passionate about this type of care, it was a personal transformation,
Yeah.
right? So 2006, busy family doc, 40 patients a day, inpatient medicine, delivering babies. Overworked, overweight, had since medical school been taking out of the drug rep closet antidepressants for panic attacks, self-medicating myself.
Oh.
And so what became this weight loss journey turned into this nutrition, like lost 50 pounds in 6 months, but way more important than that, energy, focus, no more medication. And it was just like this eye-opening, why didn't I learn any of this in my 7 years of medical school and residency, right? So
Yeah.
that led me to the University of Arizona. And as I was learning, gosh, there's a whole discipline of this type of care, right? This health promoting care. I couldn't do it anymore in my clinic, right? So I'd be sitting with my family practice patients. And before I wrote the third blood pressure medicine and doubled the insulin dose, I would just put my pen down and be like, what'd you eat this morning? Like, how'd you sleep? Right. And what I found was 20% of patients really wanted that information.
Mm-hmm.
And I have time. like no time. Three more people in other rooms, two people in the lobby, and couldn't do what I wanted to do for them. And 80% of people weren't interested, just wanted their script, right? So then I went to Parkview. So I started a hospital-based integrated program. Luckily, Parkview was all in on that idea and found that the insurance model for integrative care is a very difficult one, right? So 2 years
Oh,
into
right.
that, running the hospital system, they said, Jeff, we love what you do. You've got a 6-month waiting list. Can you see 3 times as many people? And
Oh,
I said, no,
sure.
yeah, I can't. And so for me, there was enough validation in Indiana, in Fort Wayne, for the demand for this care. So I spun off Gladd MD Integrative Medicine in 2010, left insurance, all fee for service, and spent an hour with a patient, brought on 2 nurse practitioners, one of which was my wife, and we've been rolling ever since in this type of care that we love and our patients love.
Mhm.
And over time, got to understand. I always had a technology focus and desire,
Yeah.
and so got to know the guys at Fullscript and the team there. And in 2019, had the opportunity to say, okay, I've grown this in Fort Wayne, Indiana. How can I help grow this everywhere? How can I inspire more practitioners to practice integrative medicine? How can I bring more patients into this health promoting care? And I think Fullscript is the perfect tool to do that, with the vision that they have and the passion they have for helping patients get better. And now I've got sort of a shifted balance where my full-time job is Fullscript. I still am in the clinic 1 or 2 half days a week. So I just love all aspects of this kind of care, and can't speak enough to both the practitioner satisfaction of delivering this, and the patient satisfaction. As we all know, that's what fuels us.
Amazing backstory, right? And you're right. Often I have noticed that the practitioners that move into the space, they have a story, right? And
Yeah.
a really significant passion to be able to help people in a different way. So
Yeah,
I love
and the
that.
one thing I realize that I speak a lot to my colleagues that are still kind of stuck in that model and frustrated and burned out, is the part that I really probably didn't realize I would appreciate the most, is when you work with a patient who wants to improve their health, the responsibility of success or failure falls on them, and they own
Mhm.
it. Right. So much, you just have that 7-minute office visit and it's like, doc, you haven't fixed me yet. Right. That adds to the whole burnout story. So that now the
Mhm.
relationship with the patient has changed in the way that it should, right? The patients
Yeah.
want to get better, and they just need the coaching and the guidance.
We could have a whole conversation around that alone,
Yeah.
because I would love to hear from our audience today. Who here struggles with that burden of responsibility for change? I would love to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts. Just, doing the work that I do, I hear it every day,
Yeah.
right? This just heaviness, kind of like this, that burden of feeling completely responsible, when in actuality there needs to be a shift, right? Because at the end of the day, it really is up to the client. So it's a different modality of serving clients, right?
Yeah. Agree completely.
And when they take on that responsibility, that's really where the magic starts to happen. Let's see here. So, um, Marsha, welcome. Wow, 20% want the info, 80% want the script. Okay, yeah,
Mhm.
kind of interesting, right?
Yeah.
So we are obviously in this model going after, not going after, but really serving
Mhm.
that 20%. And maybe it's grown. That was a while back, right? When integrative
Yeah.
medicine really it wasn't like a household name, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
No,
so
I
hopefully it's
completely
grown.
agree. Yeah, I think it definitely has grown, right? And I think a lot of that growing, some of it has come out of the pandemic, and how can I help myself? How can I lower my risk? I think a lot of it too, and we should put this on our shoulders as responsible. Like, there's a lot of direct to consumer options, right? There's a
Right.
ton of self serve options for these patients that just scratches the surface for them. They still need a provider to help connect and guide and sort of tease out and prioritize, right? So that's, to me, our role. And I do think that 20% is higher and growing, as we go.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's more of a household word now, functional nutrition, coaching, those things. People, would look at you like, what are you talking about? I have no idea. And now they, in many cases, they actually seek it out, right? They're searching for these new ways to get support, even online. So we've definitely noticed that.
Yeah. And as we know, like, some of those options, are borderline dangerous, right? Quality, like, we'll talk a lot
Right.
about quality and supplements in our catalog. Like, we have to rescue patients from making poor choices because they're victim to everything they read, right? We need authority figures who speak in the evidence, who speak in what the data tells us is best,
Right.
and source quality products, because so much of what you're seeing on the market is not.
Right. Well, let's segue into that, shall we? So
Absolutely.
tell us, I think many people in our audience today are familiar with Fullscript. Some perhaps are not. Tell us a little bit, just kind of a bigger picture of where Fullscript fits in for the practitioner and the patient.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would say, I mean, we're evolving too, and we're growing. What we used to be, and I think sometimes still get thought of, is we're the shopping list creator for your patient supplements.
Ah,
We want to be a treatment planning platform for
mhm.
your care, right? We want to be able for you to house your protocols, to learn new protocols, again, all tied to the clinical evidence and the support for what you should be recommending for your patients. And so, from that perspective, we're now loaded with resources and protocols that you still get to personalize, right? We've chosen the products for you based on what's popular on the platform. You have all the flexibility to choose a product of your liking for whatever that may be. If you like a certain ingredient better, you like a certain brand better, you have the ability to switch that out. And then our big effort the last 2 years has been on enhancing the practitioner and patient relationship through adherence tooling and behavioral change education. So, on the
Oh,
patient side, we're helping the patient adhere to your treatment plan, right? We have reminders, education,
right.
all those things that you can now give to your patient. One of the big things we learned, I think it's really important to talk about here in our treatment adherence work, is probably the two most important things that a provider could do to get their patient to adhere to that plan is be mindful of cost, right? Talk about what their
Mhm.
budget is, prioritize that so that they don't, look at that shopping list, see the cost, and like, I can't do it, right? Because we all know if we recommend 5 supplements, they're going to get better with 1 or 2 of those. And if that's the barrier, we've got to understand that. And then
Right.
providing the education for the why. Those are the real pieces that I
Ooh.
think drive most of that adherence. And we've got the tooling now on the platform to help practitioners, get their patients to kind of jump on those journeys and stay on them long term.
Oh my goodness. So tell us from your perspective why the why is so critical in this process. Because I have a feeling that this may be new to many people in our audience.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think the why is it's got to be baby steps, right? And patients are
Yeah.
coming to us at all levels of readiness to change. Some are just so sick and tired of being sick and tired that they are all in on your recommendations. Awesome, right? That's an easy adherence story. But so
Right.
many of them are don't know where to start. They get confused because we have so much information to share that we overwhelm them, right? With, oh, you got to
Yeah.
do this and diet and mindfulness and sleep and don't forget about these. And it just, like, the patient just kind of stares off. And, like, those patients, we have to kind of understand where they're at and
Mhm.
start them off with baby steps and small clinical wins of
Mhm.
feeling better. And now they're coming back to you as the authority for, hey, what's next? Like, I feel great, but I want to get to another level. And now that's what the adherence story is all about, is adding on top of that and bringing that patient, across that journey. Because, as we all know, it took 10, sometimes 30 years to get to where they got to you in their lack of health. it may take a couple years to get back to health. And so, I think meeting patients where they are is so critical. We've tried to kind of build a platform that allows that to occur.
Fantastic. And yeah, the educational pieces are amazing, right? Because let's be honest, it can be challenging for the practitioner. There's just not a lot of time, right?
Yes.
So if we can educate our patients and clients on, I feel like the educational component really drives home the why in terms of why certain modalities or even, specific supplements, what do they do? Why is this important to me and my
Yeah.
treatment plan, right? So
Absolutely. And we've
I
written that content. It's professionally
fantastic.
authored by our medical team. It's got the evidence attached, lots of pictures and image. Because again, we're also in this whole vein trying to raise health literacy, right? But also
Mhm.
knowing that so many of our practitioners have felt so passionately they've written all their own content. Well, upload those docs into Fullscript and make those part of your treatment plan on the platform. You don't have to use
Mm,
ours.
I didn't even know that was an option. That's
Yeah.
fantastic. I'd love to get a sense from our audience today. And I do want to acknowledge that many of you are listening live, and I know many are going to be catching the replay. So either way, I still want to hear from you. Are you using supplements? I'd love to get a sense of where you are in the supplement journey for helping your clients to improve their health. So let us know in the chat where things are in your particular practice. So, all right. So that all being said, what would you say are some of the main considerations that need to be made when making a recommendation for supplementation? Where would you start?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, and there's so many educational pathways that practitioners can sort of gather, and some of them can be expensive and valuable and worthwhile. But so many of us, kind of like patients, right? It's intimidating, and I don't know where to get started.
Hmm.
And that's why we just recently launched Fullscript Academy, right? Fullscript
Ah,
Academy is now this collaboration of clinician resources for education, and it spans, we have a whole supplement 101 course that's
mhm.
free to take that journey of just understand some of the basic evidence around some of
Mhm.
the core supplementation. And I find, I'm sure you from the business perspective, Leslie, getting started is the hardest part,
Yeah,
right? And
it always is.
it is. And so, I always kind of, and I've done a lot of business consulting, and practitioner, coaching, and you just have to have conversations with your patients. Let
Yeah.
them know that, hey, I've not made this recommendation before, but listen, I reviewed the evidence. I think it's the perfect thing for you. I don't have a lot of experience, but would you like to try it? And you and I both know the patients are going to be so excited about the humbleness in that statement
Yeah.
and the desire to get better, that probably enhances the relationship and certainly is going to increase the adherence to that recommendation because you're just honest about, like, I think it really is going to help you. And so I would pick two or three if you're not supplement savvy. Get there by just making a couple
Yeah.
recommendations, bring that patient back, follow the results. And to me, that's probably the most critical part of the journey that most practitioners kind of have a hard time jumping into.
Mm. I think it's fantastic that you have this training. So, highly recommend. Let's take a look at, let's see. So, we got a couple of responses. Again, anyone listening to the replay or our live stream here, let us know where you're at in the journey of supplementation inside of your practice. So, great. We have Allison who has been using Fullscript for the past 6 months. Fantastic. And that sounds amazing. And then I can't see your name here, unfortunately, but we do have someone that says, I do plan to provide suggestions, keeping it to the basics and taking it from there. I think that's a great strategy as well.
Yeah. And I would add for that user,
Yeah.
be really careful where you send them to get it, right? And this is why Fullscript is a
Mm,
valuable tool
okay.
because of the quality of the catalog, right? I recently, so
Right.
I was in Las Vegas for one of the big conferences last week and ran across one of the major healthcare professional only supplement CEOs. And they buy, when they see their supplement on Amazon, they buy the product. They bought this magnesium product.
Okay.
It didn't have a lot number. They sent it for
Oh,
testing. There wasn't even magnesium in the capsule.
no way.
So if you're going to make the supplement recommendation, you need to have a place. Listen, Fullscript is a great resource. There are others. I would encourage you find somewhere that you can have your patients source high quality products, because this
Okay.
is, I mean, we're talking about medication,
Right.
and we want them to have the best possible outcome with the least side effects.
Okay. That is such an important point. And honestly, Fullscript does the vetting,
That's it.
right? And I mean, I don't know about you all, but I got to say, I would much rather, this is me, put that in someone else's hands, right? Doing the vetting. Like, I don't think I would feel super comfortable with that process myself. So really, really great point. We do have someone, let's see, Heather, welcome Heather. How do I get started using Fullscript? I am going to share that in just a moment. Let's see, we've got Elise, welcome. So Elise says, I'm a big fan of supplements and I have an account with Fullscript and order for myself, but need more education on how to share it with clients. All right. You are in the right place. Thanks for that. Okay, excellent. All right, let's take one more, maybe two more quick comments, and then we'll keep going. Oh, actually, that's the same. Oh, wait, no, this is different. Okay, yeah. So this is an acknowledgement of checking the sources. All right, let's look at one more. Okay, this is from Emily. Welcome, Emily. I created an account with Fullscript and have not done the next steps yet. Plan to implement regularly in my practice. Excellent. So happy to hear that. That is fantastic. So we'll be talking you through that. So what I want to do, because there was somebody that asked, so I do have a bit.ly link, and this is my affiliate link. I only work with companies that I myself use and really, really trust. So this is my link. It's a bit.ly, just to make it a little easy. So it's bit.ly/Fullscript supplements. And I think it might be case sensitive. So the F and the S, I think, need to be capitalized. All right, guys. All right. So let's keep
And I
going.
think the one practitioner nailed it, which is be your own patient first, right? If you have
Yeah.
a couple supplements that you think would be helpful, Fullscript is a free platform to the practitioner.
Yeah.
And you decide whether there's a discount on the purchase of those supplements or whether you provide 35% off of the retail price for those supplements.
Mhm.
So, as that practitioner mentioned, she's getting, I assume, 35% off of retail
Yeah.
to get herself started. Use that for family members and then start talking to patients about that as you feel more and more comfortable with supplement recommendations.
That is a great place to start. I mean, it's similar, like, I think about the process of functional testing, right? Most of us, before we recommend a test, we do it on ourselves, right? We try it out on our family, get used to it. And that makes a lot of sense when it comes to supplements as well. And the other thing is, I get the sense that there can be quite a bit of overwhelm when it comes to supplements, right? Like, especially for the practitioners who, haven't gone there yet, right? They want to, but they're like, oh my gosh. So I think the some of the challenge is I don't know enough, right?
Yeah.
I don't know enough. I don't know enough. And I'm not denying it. It's a journey, right? It's definitely, requires some education and some time investment in this process. But that being said, at the same time, I feel like there are basic supplements that are pretty easy to wrap your mind around, right? And very well accepted in the mainstream. Wouldn't you agree?
No, I would agree 100%. And to your point, I mean, when you if you're supplement naive and you go into a catalog with 17,000
Yeah,
products,
that can
it's
be,
it's it's
that's
it's
overwhelming.
very overwhelming, and we know that, and we're trying to solve for that. With all these new prescribers and supplements becoming really important at the practitioner patient level. But right now, as is, I mean, again, learn a couple that you feel comfortable
Yeah.
with. The Supplements 101 course is a great place to start, and go find the 2000 unit vitamin D product and favorite it. Curate your own
Yeah.
catalog to just those basic things so they're right at your fingertips. And don't worry about the big world yet until you grow
Mhm.
in your comfort level as time goes.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. Start with the basics and then expand from there, right?
Yeah.
And one thing that I do want to mention, if you open an account with the link here, I'm pretty sure that you will see a list of my favorite products. Pretty sure that's uploaded, right?
Yeah.
So, and I have gotten feedback that that's pretty helpful. So, I've done a little bit of the vetting, and these products are my personal favorites. So, for what that's worth, right?
Yeah, I
Okay.
think that's a great start.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, bottom line is, I mean, Fullscript even has, like protein powders and things like that. So like people, the thing that I really want to emphasize here, a very significant percentage of the population is buying these products. They really are. And chances are they're asking you what your recommendations are. So, like, even if you were, maybe you're not quite ready to go down that path of, supplements. I know obviously protein powders could be are considered a supplement, but that's a pretty easy one, right? So, like, there
Absolutely.
are some other products, even cosmetic type of products that are, less toxic, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
snacks, there's some protein bars, and again,
right.
like all vetted. Nothing gets on the catalog without our team going through all the checks and balances of
Yeah.
high quality. So absolutely, it doesn't just have to stop with supplements. It could certainly be more nutrition support
Yeah,
or skin support.
absolutely. Yeah, like I know like lots of options for sunscreens and different types of products. So I think that is something to really take a look at because people are buying this stuff, right? So why not get it from a place where everything is sourced appropriately and is non-toxic?
Absolutely.
So, all right. So lots of great stuff here. Um, so is there anything else that you want to add in terms of key considerations for getting started, or do you feel like we've covered that pretty well?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the starting point, right? Now, for those that have a little bit of that comfort, or want to get a little bit more into supplement recommendations, this is where I would sort of introduce the protocols, right? We've
Okay.
written 40 different protocols for different conditions with the evidence scoring to support why we made those recommendations. And you'll see those, I guess, very, very focused right now seasonally. There's an immune support protocol, right? Because again,
Mhm.
what's the evidence? Where's the evidence strongest of the 100 different things that people use for immune support? What's most impactful according to the research? That's what we've created. So as you review those protocols, that's another great way to get educated and get started. And you could easily just hit upload this protocol. And again, you could personalize it if you want to switch out some products. But the ones we've done are the tried and true products that are being used. That's another great way for practitioners to start building recommendations for their patients and feel confident that the
Yes.
support and education is there behind them.
Okay. Really, really powerful. Okay. I had a comment that maybe there might be an issue with the link in that the bit.ly link took this person to their own page. And I'm thinking that if you already have a Fullscript account, then that's probably why that's happening. But just in case, I did put in the long version of the link in the chat, guys. So hopefully that will also help. Okay. All right. So the protocols. I think the protocols are amazing, truly. really so very helpful. And then the other thing that I think is really quite incredibly helpful actually is just the ability for the practitioner to create their own protocols. So you can kind of mix and match based on, your own preferences, and you can take a little from here, a little from there, and create your own, right? Or if you're new and you want to rely on the experts, you can just go right to the protocols. And I love that they're all evidence-based.
Yeah.
So that's really powerful.
Exactly.
So what are some of those key, those Fullscript protocols that practitioners can look at, especially as we enter into, we're right in the thick of the flu season, right? Flus and colds and RSV and like all kinds of things happening right now, right?
Yep. Yeah, no. So the immune support one would be at the front line there.
Okay.
Where that list is vitamin C, American ginseng, echinacea,
Mm-hmm.
and again, and like the hard part there is not just that ingredient, but the proper dosing that the evidence supports. So if you take a spin around Fullscript, click that link. Opening a free account does not mean that you're all of a sudden a prescriber, but it gives you access to that education so that you can increase in that comfort level. So if anything, start an account today to go spin through these protocols and look at what we've built, right? There's also 2 other important protocols right now: stress and supporting the body during times of stress, and sleep, right? And again, not beyond just supplements, we also have the content to help your patients understand just how to improve their sleep without supplements, right? What does the evidence speak to in terms of exercise and mindfulness and keeping the room dark? And those are handouts that you can give your patients beyond just making supplement recommendations, because we all know the integrative journey isn't just supplements, right? This is, they're called supplements, not substitutes. So we want to focus on the other aspects of that care as well. So
good. And like I said, what practitioner here has time to create those on their own, right? So it's really super helpful that you guys have taken that on. All right, so I just want to take a peek at the comments just briefly before we start to any questions. Yeah, so guys, if you have questions, now is really a great opportunity to get those answered. Let's see. Have we taken this one yet? I use Fullscript. Okay. Yep. I think we did that one. Awesome. Anna. Great. I think I addressed the link. If you already have an account, it's probably going to take you right there. Here's a dandy.
Great question.
All right. How do you test for quality?
Yeah, so our checks and balances work directly with the brands to make sure that they're doing all of the right things, and they're using third parties to prove the validation of those tests, right? So there's basic certifications and compliance guidelines, but beyond that, are they testing the raw materials that are coming into their factory? And we need to see the proof that you're doing that. Are you batch testing things as they come off the line to prove that they don't have contaminants, that they're actually what you say they are? And so we're doing a lot of those things and working with the suppliers before they ever get on the catalog, and then maintaining those quality checks as time goes. And so we have an entire quality paper. Would love for you guys to download that and read it and review what it means to be a quality product, right? So that when you talk to your patients about this is a pharmaceutical grade supplement, you have comfort knowing what that means, and you could hand your patient the recommendations that fit the bill there.
Love that. Okay. So, and where do they find that paper?
It should be under resources. So if you're on your main Fullscript page, there's you can hit prescriptions, and then resources is right there with all the resources that we have available to the practitioner.
Okay. That's great. All right. Okay. So we have a thank you. We have Sarah, who is sharing the protocol. Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate that. Okay. All right. So I'm going to put my link back up so you guys can see that. And So, as we kind of start to wrap up our conversation today, what would you say, what is your top tip for practitioners looking to get into really this area of integrative medicine and really starting to move into confidently recommending supplements for, to help their clients to improve their health? What would you say?
Gosh, yeah, if you're going to make me pick a top one, it's take care of yourselves
Ah,
and improve your own personal well-being and health
okay.
first. Now, again, like I just said, maybe not in a self-directed way, but if you're a practitioner and you've got obviously some great base education, you
Yeah.
know, try be yourself, be your patient yourself, right? Heal thyself, and use some of the things in the Fullscript catalog that are appropriate for you. If you're already optimal and everything's on track, a close family member, a friend in need, make some of those recommendations. But it's get started, right? Whether it's improving your own personal health so that you can kind of, preach this mission and this focus,
Mhm.
or again, just be humble and honest with the patient. This is new for me, but I've
Mhm.
read the evidence, I've seen the benefits. I'd really like you to try this. Are you interested? And patients are so desperate to improve
Mhm.
without the use of pharmaceutical medications that
Right.
I guarantee you're going to see their eyes light up, and now you're going to build confidence in your own in your own supplement knowledge and usage. And again, the quality piece is really easy in the Fullscript catalog.
Yeah, love that. This is kind of off the cuff question, but do you have like some favorite categories of supplements that you feel as a doctor most people, and I don't, it's never all right, but most
Yeah.
people could benefit from?
Yeah, so I actually answer that two different ways, right? So the
Okay.
general patient, it's a good quality multivitamin,
Yeah.
that's got all of the right ingredients that are clean, a good source of omega-3 fatty acids, which typically come from fish oil,
Okay.
and making sure vitamin D is optimal given the season that we're in, right? Those would be the general focus for patients, and have them check a blood level, right? Know where they're at, and that would give you even more comfort in making that dose recommendation.
Mhm.
I'll then talk a little bit more about my personal focus for me and
Okay.
the patients I see now is longevity and muscle strength, and
Uh,
holding on or building the muscle as you age is so
yes.
critically important that I'm talking a lot about really clean versions of whey protein if you're
Right.
tolerant of that, and creatine, right? Some of the evidence on creatine and longevity, not just for strength, but mood and dementia, pretty impressive.
Really?
Really easily
Okay.
supplement to recommend, really tasteless powder to put in coffee, to put in water. So those would be my two favorite beyond the general support supplements.
Amazing. Thank you. That is super helpful. I've
My
been
pleasure.
working out at a, kind of going back to weight training, and it's interesting. I hear a lot of the chatter, right,
Yeah.
about all the protein and like how, it's a really big conversation out there. So I think that is extremely intriguing for me personally. So thanks for sharing that. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
All
you're
right,
welcome.
guys, we are. Oh, it looks like we got another question or two. Okay, so all right, so we've got Gladys. Again, this is for practitioners only, correct? We are not allowing just anyone to open an account.
You are 100% right. We have a compliance team. There has to be a certain level of certification and education met in order to
Okay,
even have a Fullscript account. So we are a practitioner only platform for making those recommendations. Great
great
question.
question. I love that. Okay, and then here's another actually really good one. Um, and this is from Elise. Would you please share guidelines on what is allowed for us to promote with Fullscript on social media?
Yeah, I mean, Leslie, we had this talk
Yeah.
offline, right? I mean, I think there's an opportunity for practitioners to start, learning how to create shareable wellness protocols that they send out to their followers.
Mhm.
And we're supporting that. Again, as long as you're a certified practitioner that qualifies for an account,
Mhm.
you could send shareable wellness protocols, Now, they would be more members of your Fullscript account, not
Okay.
necessarily patients, but that is a path, that we support at Fullscript, as long as the practitioner is the one making the recommendations, right? It's their shop.
Okay. So my interpretation of what you just said is it's okay to share the link to your store, right?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have restrictions against that
Okay.
at this time.
Yeah.
And as long as, again, it's the responsibility of the practitioner to be making solid recommendations. We certainly would like you to use our protocols with the evidence
Yes.
behind them, but certainly the ones you're probably going to recommend would as well.
Yeah. And on that note, this is something that I talk to my clients about quite regularly when we are having conversations around, of course, practice building, and it's always centered around how can we better serve our patients and clients, right? So, just to kind of throw out an idea that, may or may not resonate, but I really like the idea of doing like what I would call a nutrient spotlight, right? In a newsletter format, or I don't know, maybe a blog, or maybe both, right? Where you are talking about the benefits, like the need, the benefits, and maybe a little bit about, the validation in terms of the research. Not too deep, because, your patients and clients don't want to go down a rabbit hole of research, but I like that idea of, really spotlighting a specific nutrient, laying it all out, and then making a recommendation, right? And I think that's a great way to support your clients. I know that they're interested in this. You're giving the why, just like we talked about earlier in terms of the education, right? Any comments on that?
I would add to that, and I know I've beat this drum a couple times, I'll keep beating it, is I would also add to that the importance of quality decisions. Quality products,
Great.
right? And you could pull that from our quality guide and some of the
Mm.
data behind that. You could look up the headlines and the research that's being done on products that are being purchased from any online store,
Okay.
and the danger associated with that, right? So
Okay.
also, why this say B complex, why this say herb, and the
Right.
quality piece is really critical, which is also going to add the validity to your message.
I love that. Yeah. So the quality, yeah, because your patients and clients, they probably don't get it, right? They're like, oh, well, let me compare and just, can I get it on Amazon, right? So I agree that is a critical piece of your messaging, guys, is to educate your patients and clients around why you're recommending what you're recommending, and specifically the quality element. So yeah, so I love that strategy, and I've seen it. I know that it works, and most importantly, it's a win-win, right? For you as the practitioner, and of course, your patients and your clients will, they love learning the why, and especially around a specific nutrient. So give that a try. Let me know how that works for you guys. All right, guys. So we need to wrap up. Again, I want to thank you, Jeff. It was so good to be able to spend some time with you. I appreciate your sharing your wisdom with us. And thanks for everyone that joined us today. I do have the Fullscript link. You can see that on your screen. So honestly, my recommendation, and I think Dr. Gladd would agree, why not just go and open an account and just start perusing through there, right? I am glad I did. I opened my account right away, and my friends and family get access to it. I personally pass along my discount, right? Which it works for me, but you guys have a 35% profit margin to play with, right?
Correct.
So you get to pick, do you want to pass along the whole discount, or do you want to split it, or not, right? You get to decide. So that's the beauty of it. So yeah, I would just recommend, why not dip your toe in and get started? All right, guys. All right. So open an account. All right. Let's see. Who is this? All right. Mr. Mason, open an account a minute ago. Thanks for the info. All right. Bravo for you. Really excited for what's to come in your journey. Congrats. All right, guys. Listen, I hope you have a great rest of your day. An awesome weekend. We are, boy, right around the corner from the holidays. So I will look forward to seeing you same time, same place next week. And again, I hope you have a great rest of your week. All right. And again, thanks to Jeff for joining us. Really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, it was my pleasure. I'll always enjoy it. Yeah, it's good to see you again, Leslie.
All right. Thanks, everybody. See you soon.